welcome to my channel. This is just gonna be a place for me to vent and hopefully take my mind off killing myself and cutting. But we'll see how it goes. I guess I should kind of give you an idea of how everything started. It all started when I was going into grade 5. I'm in grade 7 now, and my best and only friend, Clarissa, got hit by a train on her way to vacation. And she was the only person I ever had, you know, and like losing her kind of hurt, and not to mention the time I found out it was on the anniversary of my great-grandpa's death. Yeah. So how I found out was my friend Emily walked up to me and I saw her at the campground and she was like, "Hey, do you know that Claire died?" And I was like, "What?" And then she was like, "Claire from our school, you know, your best friend?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "She died." And I was like, "Okay." And I kind of was holding it in because I didn't want to be classified as a wimp or anything. So I told her that I had to go, and I ran to my trailer and I walked up to my dad. I've always known my dad didn't love me. He's not actually my dad. I'm adopted, and he didn't come into my life until I was around 5 or 6. And he always made it clear that I wasn't his. So I don't even know why I went to him, but I went up to him and I said, "Clarissa died," and I had like tears in my eyes and I was trying to hold them back. And he literally looked me straight in the eye and he said, "Go talk to your mom about it." AKA, I don't give a fuck. Get out of here. And that kind of shattered my heart. So I went to my mom and like in the trailer and like tears started to run down my face. And I said Clarissa's name over and over and over again, and she looked at me and she knew. I collapsed and I cried for 3 hours, and then my mom was going back into town. She asked if I wanted to come and I did. Really badly. I needed to see if it was true. So we got in the car and the whole way I cried and I didn't like talk to her. And then we got here and I ran into my room and I opened my laptop and I started to Skype her. We were fighting 2 days before she left on vacation. I knew she was going on vacation. I started to Skype her and she wasn't picking up. And it killed so bad that it might have been true. And it said connecting. And all that was going through my head was Emily lied to me. It's not true, she didn't die, she couldn't have died. I mean, she's answering. And then the camera opened. And her mom was on the other end with tears rushing down her face. And my heart dropped. And I'm pretty sure I died there for a couple seconds because all I can remember is seeing her mom's face and feeling the wave of reality wash over me. It told me that this is real. She's gone. And I couldn't handle that. So I held in the tears that needed to come out so badly. And I had a conversation with her mom and I said, "I gotta go," and she's like, "Okay," and then she said bye. And when I first answered that call, I needed to cry. But after I ended it, I just kind of sat there. Numb, I couldn't feel anything. And I went out to the kitchen and made hot chocolate and then got back in the car and we went to the campground. I wasn't believing it was real because I didn't want it to be. You know, it couldn't be real. It wasn't allowed to be real. She was all I had and I couldn't have lost her, so I didn't accept it and I brushed it off. And then they had a memorial at the school, and I went there, and a bunch of people were there, and it was outside. And I just sat there and I burnt candle wax and stared at the flames because none of it was real. Not to me, at least. It couldn't be. I wasn't gonna let it. I wasn't gonna accept it. And then grade 5 started up, and everyone kept looking at me and asking if I was okay. And I said, yeah, I'm fine. And I believed it. I was lying to myself and everyone else. And that's pretty much all I can remember of grade 5. That's kind of when things started to go downhill, and the rest of the year is a blur. And then grade 6 was a blur too, and here I am in grade 7. And I am fucking everything up. I have a dog. I got him this past August because I felt like if I had a dog, I would have something to live for. But now that I think about it, after I hit grade 7, everything picked up and everything started moving, and it was all too fast for me. And I have so many things to juggle that it doesn't feel fair to my dog anymore. I kind of feel like I'm wasting his life. And it kills me to know that it's my fault. That he doesn't have all the experiences puppies should have. And then I had 2 best friends, Frankie and Jaden. And we were tight like glue. I've known Jaden since kindergarten, and I met Frankie in grade 6, and we were tight like glue, but slowly I felt like we were slipping apart. And I tried to bring it up to them, and they just kept saying that I was lying, like we were falling apart or whatever. But I never told them about how much pain I was always in. How every smile, every laugh was fake. Because no matter where I went, I carried Clarice's death and my dad's hatred around on my back. And I couldn't handle it. And then we went on Christmas break in December. And I kind of locked myself away in my room. And then I had to go back to school in January. January 7th, 2015. I walked into my first class, which was English. And I sat at the back of the room and I scanned the room, looking around at everyone I knew. And up at the front by the teacher's desk, there was this girl. She was sitting there and she was all by herself, and I'd never seen her before. So I took a chance and I stood up, I walked over to her and I asked if I could sit with her, and she said yes. So I sat down and I introduced myself and I asked where she was from. And her name is Ray, and we're still good friends right now. And I'm not even kidding when I say that she saved my life. At a time when she came into my life, I felt like everything was falling apart. I felt like everything was my fault. And then she came into my life and she showed me that everything can be okay. It'll be our 5-month anniversary in like a week, the 7th of May. And she has depression, anxiety too, like me, and she cuts too. And she's suicidal too, but she does it for different reasons than I do. But I remember the first time we had a sleepover 2 weeks after we met. There was another girl with us, and we were at Ray's house, right? And we were all sitting there, and the one girl was sleeping on the floor, but me and Ray were sitting on the couch talking, and I felt connected to her. We hadn't even talked about any of this stuff, and I felt connected to her. And I looked over at her. I was half asleep, and I said that I never want to lose you. She goes, what do you mean? And I said, I lose everyone, and it's all my fault. And I said, I don't want you getting close to me because I'm going to mess it up. And she looked at me and she goes, I know that you're not going to lose me, and I know that you won't mess it up. And I go, how? She goes, and she rolled up her sleeve and she showed me her arm. And at this point, I hadn't started cutting it.
Wrapped in light and light and love. Put your open lips on mine and slowly let them shut. For they're designed to be together. Oh, with your body next to mine, our hearts will beat as one. And we're set alight. We're a fire, love.
would be so much better. I messed it up with my existence. So I laid down and I stared at my roof. And I started writing suicide notes in my head. Wonder, hey. And I could hold it together while I was talking about Ray, but then I started to think about one for my little sister, Shelby, who is 6. And I kid you not, just mentioning her name out loud gave me a panic attack. Because I never wanted to feel this pain. Like, why would you bring a poor innocent being into this world just to have them screwed over by life? So I couldn't do it. And I lay back down and I went to sleep. And I'm supposed to be at school right now, but I came home for lunch because I was planning on writing my suicide notes down. And I thought about making a video and seeing if it helps. So I'm sorry to waste your guys' time with all this, but I guess I just need to say it out loud. Thanks for listening, and I guess I'll try to keep you guys updated. There's probably no one out there listening anyway to my problems, but if one of you watches this, thank you for listening. Talk to you later, I guess.
Confidence is quiet. To them, quiet looks like weakness, but you don't have to fight it, 'cause you're strong enough to win.